Hello everyone, welcome to my new time for live streams. Normally, well, probably for over a year now, I've gone live on Friday, kind of mid-morning, but I realized over the next little bit and for a few months, I was going to be missing more normal live times than I was going to be actually able to do it. So I thought, you know what, let's just change times. We're here Monday evenings. I hope those of you who were normally at the Friday lives are able to get this time as well, or maybe there'll be more of you who weren't able to see it live on Friday. So welcome, welcome. Today I'm going to be doing a card and envelope. So for those of you who are watching live, if you have not submitted your address for this month's mail art, go ahead and do that now. There's a link down below in the video description. I'm going to be picking from addresses that have been submitted all day today. So the 1st of May, including those that are, submitted during this live stream itself. So when we get to the envelope, it's going to be pretty simple envelope because I'm focusing on the card today. But when we get to the envelope, I will be picking an address from those that have come in today. So if you haven't done that already, I encourage you, if you are comfortable sharing your address for me to use on an envelope, please do that. You can use a business address. You can use, I think I've sent one to a library before, like with care of, with the person's name and all that. So whatever comfortable your address with, whatever comfortable with, I can't even talk today, whatever address you're comfortable with, you can go ahead and submit that one. I'm going to switch to my overhead and we'll get going. So here are the 3 stamp sets that I'm going to be using today. I planned out my card in advance and actually done a little bit of prep work that will hopefully keep us moving along here and not take too long. But the idea is this one right here. I'm going to show you on camera. Here's that couple of cards I made, last week or so. This one, okay, don't look at that one. We're going to be doing this one. So we've got 3 little critters from a mama elephant stamp. We've got a large greeting, and then that square or the rectangle in the background is going to be created by doing some, well, I call it ink painting, but it has a very similar look to using a gel press or jelly plate, something like that. We'll get going here in a minute and you'll see what I mean. Okay, so the way I planned out kind of the spacing for this is, okay, so here's the Concord and 9th stamp set. I'm going to be stamping this large rectangle. So that's kind of the spacing we have to work with. And then, okay, well, I'll just show you this. I already stamped 3 little critters from the Flower Friends stamp set for Mama Elephant. I've actually masked these. I'll use these as masks, but I taped them together so they were sort of in a row. And then they're going to go over top of my stamped rectangle. And then for my greeting, I'm going to be using from Honeybee, the Big Time Kindness stamp set. And I thought I would take this really large kindness greeting right here. And it's going to be at a little bit of a diagonal. I'll try to ignore everything else that's happening. But kindness. And then I'll stamp thank you for your, or I might even stamp those on some sentiment strips and pop them up since everything else will be very flat. But that is the general idea for the card. Okay, so then I'll have my cute little critters right there. So the first image that we need to stamp is the cat, because the cat is visually in front of the other 2 animals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my little cat stamp, and I'm just going to place it right over the top. This is just going to give us the beginning of the spacing for the card. And I'll just close my MISTI long enough to transfer that over. And then now I've got the spacing of where I want that little cat. Now I'm going to be coloring the cat and all the other images. I'm going to be coloring it in Copic Markers. So I need to use a Copic friendly ink. Honeybee Creative, I'm not sure, it's just their Intense Black. It's great for alcohol inks. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this down. This is not going to be directly on the card front. This is on a separate sheet of Nina so that I can use the Copics and it'll bleed through, and then I'll just adhere it to a card base. Okay, that stamped really well. I think I'm gonna stamp it one more time just to get really solid lines. Okay, so I'm going to clean off this stamp, and then I'm going to take the mask that I've already prepared. I used a little bit of Gina K Designs Masking Magic. I'm gonna take my tape off here. And I'm going to put this mask over our little kitty. So I'm just covering up. And this masking is going to serve two purposes. One, it's going to make it look like the animals are behind the cat. But also, I'm going to keep the masks on there while I stamp that background. I'm just going to stamp it one more time. Really get that down. Okay. All right, work with me. There we go. All right, so I'm going to cover him up. And then I've got the little puppy. These are either really big flower costumes for these animals, or, well, really, okay, is that a hamster? It's the same size as a cat and a dog. I guess we're in imaginary dreamland at this point. So they can be actual flower animals. Okay, press that down. And I want this stamp is well loved. I have used it many a time. I think I want it this way. And we're gonna go about like that, I think. Okay. It's gonna wanna stick because it's such a large, solid area. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that's down in that corner. And then I've picked out some Concord and 9th inks. So I picked them out specifically to be applied onto this stamp in this order. I'm gonna put the Nutmeg at the bottom because I want it to sort of create a little bit of a ground for all of the animals to be sitting on. And then this up here is, I don't know if this is really gonna translate or work, but I want it to sort of look like a sky. So I've got some lighter colors at the bottom, going up to dark, and I'm planning to do my greeting, which if you remember, it's gonna go right over the top like this. I wanna have my greeting and then the subsequent little strips or whatever, or the smaller type. I want that to be in a gold embossing powder. So because of that, I wanna make sure that I have quite a bit of dark, like right up here at the top, so that that gold embossing powder will really show on that background. So I'm gonna start with the Nutmeg.
Take me on a spree, I wanna get to know me, every little inch of me. Gentle while you stroke, when you depicture me, every number count, love tokens. Where did all the swallows fly when I was 17? Caught up in a dream that became a nightmare. I've said it doesn't matter now, but it defeats me. Shackles around.
You don't really see the lilac much. It's mostly like the last three colors, but that's okay. I think if you wanted to really make sure you see the progression of color, instead of masking them, you could just do the whole block and then cut the images out and pop them up. I think that would look great too. Unfortunately, these are so saturated in ink, I don't think I'll be able to reuse the masks. Okay, so I think I'm gonna use my Copics or something and kind of fill in the gaps right there.
Feet is not so neat. swallows fly when I was 17. Caught up in a dream that became a nightmare. Oh, it must have been the first time that evil kissed my face. But oh, little did I know, disharmony awakens me. Oh, who would I be? Who would I be? Oh, disharmony dismantles me still. Oh, it's deep, so deep. Oh, it's deep, so deep. Oh, where did all the swallows fly when I was only 17?
You know, before we stamp the greeting and I do my heat embossing, I'm going to hit this with my heat tool just to make sure that everything is dry, because there's a lot of ink happening here and I don't want to run into any issues when I heat emboss. Just for good measure, a little more powder. Okay. Make sure that's in that corner really well, because I think I'm going to stamp this twice. Stamp again. All right. I'm going to go ahead and apply my Gilded Embossing Powder from Burtis Monroe. Okay, so it just has that kindness right there. Powder tool. Versamark. Stamp that down. Stamps, I'm going to make sure I'm not going to get any double impressions here. Yeah, we're totally good. I love how dainty this font is. Adherent to the card base. So there's a folded card. This is why I didn't do it on the card base itself, because I knew that that Copic marker ink would come through. Make sure my card is opening the right direction. How many of us have done that, where you just adhere your card design to the front of your card base and it's on upside down or backwards or who knows what? So we have a thank you for your kindness. I think it's adorable. My design, or my finished card wasn't exactly the same size as my card base, so I'm just gonna lop this off. And I'm not using much pressure. I'm just letting the knife do all the work. There we go. Okay, so there is our card. So we need to work on the envelope. I'm gonna just go pick out a regular white envelope. We're gonna do kind of the same thing I did with this stamp in the background. We're gonna do the same thing just on the edge of the envelope. I'm thinking like Dragonfruit, maybe like a fig, Honeycomb, and then we'll do Peacock and Midnight and Blueberry. I think that would look really great.
Caught up in a dream
Okay. Okay, that's cute. I like it. It's not entirely straight. It kind of goes down a little bit, but I think it looks really cute. I think it's really fun.
Swallows fly when I was 17. Caught up in a dream that became a nightmare.
Okay. Turn that laser off. All right, the last thing to do is to put down some microglaze that will make this water resistant to water. It's not perfect, but it's resistant to water. Everything on this except the street address is not waterproof. The pen I used here is waterproof, but the marker I used and these inks, that is not waterproof. So we've got some Tim Holtz Distress Microglaze, and I've got a mini round blending tool, and which fits just perfectly inside this little tiny jar. And then I'm going to apply it over the entire envelope, except I'm going to skip the postage stamps because it does put kind of a slick barrier over everything, and the post office can't cancel the stamps if there's something coating them, right? So I'm gonna just start up here. I've got some fuzzies on my foam, but that's okay. I can wipe it off later because after you apply the microglaze, you do buff it with a paper towel just to really press it into the fibers of the paper, and also to remove any excess, what's the word? Oh, this is waterproof. I guess I didn't need to put that. It buffs off any of the excess microglaze. Okay. And then I like to just take the paper towel that I was using and I'll kind of ball it up and just start buffing. And sometimes it picks up a tiny bit of ink, but it doesn't really smudge anything. Like it's not picking anything up, which is nice. So here are the two items I made for today's live stream. We have our card that has that greeting in gold, and then the envelope that's going to be sent off to Amy in Kentucky. So a big thank you to Amy for allowing me to use your address today. Thank you so much. And I will be back on Wednesday with a video. I've already filmed it, so we know what's happening. I'm going to be playing with some Yuli watercolors on black watercolor paper, and I'm going to be doing it over stamps. So for those of you who are not real crazy about free painting or doing your own leaves and patterns and things like that, this is a great way to use those pearlescent or metallic paints on a dark surface, but with the aid of a stamped image. So come back for that and check it out. And thanks so much for watching. I will catch you guys next time.